Welcome back to WD Magic Cast for the week of June 16th, 2024. Happy Father's Day, all the dads out there. This is episode 260. WD Magic Cast, the show about the mouse, the Marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Graken. And this week's show, I have a special guest. Chris will be joining me as we discuss Disney dads. Yes, for Father's Day, we're discussing the Disney dads in our lives. Make sure to join the conversation on our social networks where we can be found just about everywhere at WD Magiccast. Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. We're there. Threads as well. Make sure to find us, join the conversation, and check in on us. And in case of any news is posted, we try to get some stuff and some content going there. Make sure especially to join our YouTube channel where we will be having some surprises coming up this summer. Make sure to join us there again at WD Magiccast. And you could also listen to this fine show on there as well. Speaking of this fine show, make sure to check out our TeePublic store where you can buy yourself some nice merchandise, some cool WD Magiccast t-shirts, tote bags for the beach, coffee mugs. There's a whole bunch and variety of things. Throw pillows even. Check it out there. Get you something nice for yourself and support your favorite podcast as well. And on that bombshell, on with the show. For Father's Day, I was thinking, let's talk about Disney dads, because as a dad, and I may be biased in this, sometimes I feel like we don't get enough of the discussion. And not to belittle moms. Moms do a fantastic job, and moms do a lot of work. Some dads do a lot of work too, and we dads should be celebrated too, because, well, we're half the equation sometimes. And I guess I wanted to discuss it for Father's Day. And I was thinking of somebody, I'm like, okay, who can I bring on? Someone who can lend a voice as a father and also as a Disney person, and who has not lent his voice too much to the actual podcast show, but has done some stuff for the web part of the podcast in himself. You may recognize his beautiful nature from the Kidani Village Grand Villa review that we posted on Facebook. Master Chris Brooks has joined us again, and this time on the podcast. So, Chris, welcome to the podcast end of things, and thank you for everything you do on the web end of things.
Thank you, Mr. Matthew. Absolutely. My pleasure.
And so happy Father's Day. Speaking of, you are a dad. You're a Disney dad, too, which makes you even cooler.
Absolutely, except I'm not wearing a matching shirt today.
Yeah, well, we could have done that yesterday.
Sure.
But sometimes we do that at work.
We do. We tend to wear the same thing by accident and get called out for it.
No, not always. But, at least we don't come in our matching banana costumes.
We could.
But, so I proposed this top five, well, not top five, but five Disney dad discussion with you. And you either foolishly agreed or wholeheartedly agreed to come on and discuss some of your favorite Disney dads.
Just looking for an opportunity to talk about anything with you, Matt. And being a dad is something I have a little expertise in, as far as 10 years expertise, not too much expertise, but Disney dad for sure. Been going to Disney for a long time, and now I don't know if I'm as Disney as you, but we fall into that same category for sure.
Oh, you don't sell yourself short.
We are the Matthew and I work together, and we are the Disney people at work. And a lot of times we're the go-to people to talk about Disney. And if we're not talking to other people, we're just talking to each other or ourselves.
Sometimes just by ourselves.
Yeah, it's more you than me.
I do host a podcast, and sometimes I am the only person on here. So yes, I will do that. Right. So you are our guest. You are my guest. You go and you start off first. Which is your first Disney dad you would like to talk about?
I was asked recently who my favorite Disney character is by someone last week, and I immediately said this person, and I'm glad it fits into this category as well. This is my character for the My Disney Experience app. I think Mr. Incredible himself, Bob Parr, is the Disney dad of choice. He is a superhero. He is the superhero that we all wish to be as fathers. But he doesn't come across as cocky. He's probably the most powerful superhero in that universe. But through the movie, we get to see the other side of him, the goofy side of him, the flawed side of him, which I parent every day through my flaws, and I guess I just attribute. I feel sometimes like I'm Mr. Incredible. I try to be Mr. Incredible, but a lot of times I'm the Mr. Incredible that's ripping the car door off, and not the Mr. Incredible that's catching a falling building. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how in the second one they put him in the role of Mr. Mom.
Sure.
And,
right.
The dad end really comes across.
Right.
What's one of my favorite lines? It's in the first one where Helen's yelling at the kids and then yells at him to jump in. He goes, "Children, listen to your mother."
We say this in my house with my wife. We say this probably 2-3 times a week. My wife will yell from the other room, or she'll yell across the table, and she'll say, "Chris, engage," because that's what Helen says to. She says, "Engage, Bob," and we really do it because as a father, I mean the mom handles a lot of that stuff, and when it comes time to engage, sometimes I need to be told that it's that time. And now I think in the movie maybe he picks up both kids by the collar or something. Like I do that. That's me. So we often say that, Bob, engage. Well, Chris, yeah.
I often get, "Why don't you say something? Listen to your mother," is my response.
Yeah. Well, right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's just so many moments in the movie. I think about the ripping off the door. I did that. Matthew and I worked together, and at the place we work, I ripped off the bathroom male's door, and I felt like Mr. Incredible for a moment. It was the poor maintenance at the building we work at is the reason why the door fell off. But I had a door in my hand, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's me!
I did this.
I did this." Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's great too about at the end of the day?
Please tell me you didn't have a kid on a tricycle staring at you.
No, just another person we worked with walk in very confused. No, but at the end of the day, he needs his family. He can't do it on his own. And I think a lot of fathers will come to realize that if they haven't already. You need your wife. He trusts his kids at one point, and lets them take on an independent role. So there's a lot of great lessons in that movie, and with him, obviously.
Between finding self-identity, new identity as times change, and he needs to evolve and move forward. The things that he does for his family, as far as relocating, doing it, and to be honest, jobs that he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
That is not a job for someone of his qualifications.
Hey, you and I totally understand that. We do the job that we do to help support our families, and that's really almost the sole reason why we're doing what we do during the day. So, I think I really feel what he feels in those moments of being frustrated in your day job, just to kind of support the family.
Yes, well, our boss isn't 2 feet tall, thankfully, and threatening us with pencils.
No, we have a good boss. If you're watching, thank you.
But yeah, it's very good example. And like I said, I think even more so in the second one, Num Num Cookies, Jack Jack going Num
Oh
Num
yeah,
Cookies, and you could just see the defeat in his face,
right.
trying to deal with the kids.
Listen, I think there's going to be other Disney dads on our list that are going to have other moments
Oh
of
yeah,
wisdom. Probably wiser, maybe better fathers. But to me, Bob Parr is the realest father,
yes,
which is funny to say about a superhero. But the side that we see in the movies is not necessarily the superhero side. We see the father, the real person side.
right. The more human
Yeah.
side of him. You
Yes.
start off with the superhero side, but you get the more the realistic and everything else as the layers of the onion unpeel through the movie,
Yeah.
which is part of what makes that such a brilliant movie.
And you mentioned something before, and it made me think the transition he takes from being a single person and being not just a single superhero, but then marrying Helen and then having the kids. I think all fathers can understand that too. You know, transitioning to selflessness from being a bachelor and everything's about yourself, and then having a wife and then a family.
Right, and kind of you look for those moments of your own, but
Mm,
at the same time, your family is such a key part of your essence.
yeah. And yeah, it's not it's not an easy transition for
Dude,
anybody, and it wasn't for him. But he still wanted to relive those glory days, right? That's the part of the first movie he was listening to the what is that, a radio, and
the
he was
CB radio
yeah,
police
yeah,
scanner
yeah,
with Frozone, trying to still rescue a cat out of a tree and
yeah.
uh, stop a jewelry robbery without knocking down a
Oh,
building.
okay, this isn't a father, but we can't mention Incredibles without mention the "Where's my super suit" line.
Oh yes,
I mean, if I'm not say if in my household it's not Chris and Gage, it's me yelling from one room, "Where's my socks?" and thinking of that line, "Where's my super suit?"
where is my super suit?
Yeah.
Why do you need it? It's for the greater good. Greater good. What about our dinner? I'm the greatest good
Oh, I'm
you
the
ever
greatest
got.
good. That's right. That's
Meanwhile, the world's blowing up. UFOs are flying in.
yeah. Yeah, well, okay. You called me Master Brooks earlier. I'm a karate instructor, and I can't tell you how many times I'm looking for like my suit, my
Your
martial
key.
arts gi,
Yeah.
and and like my wife had brought it home, and she's sewing something or she's cleaning it. Thank you, wife. But I'm always like looking for it because I need to go do my
Yeah.
martial arts stuff. Yeah.
Where
Um,
is my super suit?
all right,
That
Mr. Matthew, I
yes.
think you need to try to top Bob Parr, Mr. Incredible, the greatest Disney dad there is. Bring it on, sir.
All right. Well, since you put it out that way, I'm
Oh,
gonna
oh,
since you lay it out that way,
oh,
I am
okay.
gonna fight superhero with a superhero
Ooh.
and mention one Drake Mallard, also known as Darkwing Duck.
Ooh. Oh, oh, that's been a while, my friend. Oof. Darkwing Duck. Go ahead. What?
All
Why
right.
is?
So I mean, what you're talking about a dad, and in this case, he is not just a dad. He's and this again going something that's it's kind of personal to me. He's an adoptive father. He has a little firecracker of a daughter that he's raising on his own, and at the same time fighting crime in his city and trying to defend everything and balance life between her school and stopping the evildoer of the evening, being the terror that flaps in the night. He sometimes she gets involved and gets pulled along into the adventures. Sometimes she is the adventure, but he is always there for her, and particularly in the initial episode of Darkwing Duck, where you see the transition again, like we were just saying, going from that bachelor superhero, everything he does is just there is no real alternate mild mannered version of Darkwing Duck. It is just Darkwing Duck. But then at the end of that story, the alter ego does come out of Dad, of the Drake Mallard character, and going to raise this girl and take her literally under his wing, as it were, to and raise her and have provide for her and be her family that she really didn't have. So yeah, he is, but in along the same vein, he is that dad that he tries to be the cool dad and do all the impress his daughter. I think she's like a preteen daughter. And he's always goofing up and messing up stuff, and but she sees past that, all the embarrassment, and he will embarrass her, he will embarrass himself, and she will call him out on that, but in the end she loves him for who he is, and also realizes that she has one of the coolest dads in the world, because not that she could tell anybody, but he's not just a stay-at-home dad and raising a daughter on his own, but he's also a superhero, and he will do anything to protect her over everybody else, and just protect the world and the things that he's done.
Well, you got to remind me here. Did she know since the first episode that he was Darkwing Duck, or was it something that she found out later?
She met him initially as Darkwing Duck.
Okay.
And like I said, the persona of Drake Mallard did not appear till afterwards.
Okay.
Which the show came out in '89, so I don't think it's a spoiler now. But so at the end of the premiere episode, which is 2 episodes long, you under the assumption that Darkwing Duck perished. And then, she's at the orphanage, all upset, waiting, and the caretaker of the orphanage, okay, there's someone here to see you as a prospective father, and this and that. And she's like, no, I don't want anybody, whatever it is. He's pushing everybody away because she just wanted Darkwing Duck, and that's not going to happen. And he walks in, not in his suit, but as Drake Mallard, and kind of he says something to her, and you see her eyes perk up. He's like, oh, I know who you are.
Okay. That's cool. That now, Mr. Matthews a little older than I am, so when I was watching this, I was watching it as a kid, so I didn't do quite a deep dive. I like that. All right, Darkwing Duck. Man. All right.
Let's get dangerous. Today we're gonna be making scrambled eggs.
Oh, see, he is pretty stinking cool. That's true. All right, what about, does Darth Vader count? I'm watching.
Well, I mean,
spoiler alert! It's 45 years old. Spoiler alert. Okay, everybody. He's what?
He's a dad.
He's a dad, and
it's under the Disney guys. Yes.
Okay, right, and very formative. I mean,
it's like, okay, our wives think we mess up. At least we didn't cut our son's hand off and subject our daughters to torture.
Listen, but the son went through the most growth. I mean, learned a lot.
He needed that to lose that hand.
Love. It's tough love.
It is absolutely tough love. It is you got to learn your lesson somehow, and I was always told, someone may lose an eye. Well, in this case, someone may lose a hand.
Okay,
This
on
is
your
what you
list,
get for playing with swords.
on your list, is there a better tough love father than Darth Vader?
Uh,
Haha,
I have one that's close.
the toughest of love. Okay, well, do you want to transition to the one that you have that's close?
No. Keep going. I want to see where you go with this.
Well, no, I mean, well, okay, so he was an absent father, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. but put Luke on the path, right? I mean, everything. I mean, listen, well, I guess not 6 movies. How many? I mean, everything is because of him.
True.
Okay. You know, you call him the antagonist. I call him the Darth Vader, my friend. Luke learned the light side from battling his dark. And then name me another father who made the ultimate sacrifice at the end. Did he jump in front of Luke? Takes the Emperor's lightning?
True. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. True.
Boom. Darth Vader, ultimate dad, Disney dad. Boom. Matt didn't know we were going here.
I think I said this to you, and I said this to actually a lot of people on Father's Day to wish them a happy Father's Day, and it was from the Disneyland commercial of Darth Vader. Well, it either sent him flying in Dumbo or flying in the rocket blasters, Astro Orbiter.
Yes.
Which I have to admit is probably one of the coolest Disneyland commercials.
I mean, Darth Vader living his best life at Disneyland is every dad's dream. Let's do it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is a day long to remember.
No, this is a good time to talk about the fact that most every Disney movie has absent parents and absent fathers. And it's kind of about the child's path of finding themselves without that parental influence. I mean, we're gonna go on later and talk about some more dads, but the fact of the matter is, it is a hard topic to talk about because there's a lot of them are so absent for the movies, and it's almost the absence of the father that creates the movie, or the absence of the mother that creates the movie. They're searching for that father figure, or they're searching for the themselves because they really weren't taught that.
Yeah, it's a way to, in some ways, kind of unfair, but it is a way to create a an instant emotional connection to a character, because you have a character who is missing a parent, a mother or a father, and you're pretty much instantly going to feel something of some sort of compassion for that character. Oh, that poor fill in the blank.
Right, and it gives all these characters a fire and a purpose.
Right.
They have to prove themselves as individuals, and then we get to see the journey.
Right. I mean, you could go back to like Bambi, where the father didn't show up till the last 10 minutes of the movie, if that, and it was the mother the whole time until the mother inevitably isn't in the movie anymore, and then the father shows up. But again, it's that absent thing, and despite what my wife says, I think more fathers are not available or make it through a movie than wives, but maybe that's just my perspective, because she keeps saying, they always kill the mother off. Oh, yeah. Okay, there's Bambi, Nemo, and
yeah. Well, I have on my list, and kind of for this kind of reason, is Mulan's dad. And I
was considering that one.
Yeah, I had to look up the name. It was
Mulan.
So, but like, the father's the purpose for the movie, where the father's the purpose for her journey. If the father could fight, right, she has to take his place essentially, right?
Yes.
So it's like we're talking about the bad part about Disney movies is all these absent fathers, but at the end of the day, that's what creates this great heroine in Mulan, right?
Yeah, he is
He's just old and sick, right? I mean,
he is old. He is injured.
yeah,
The old adage, oh, the wound, the war wound. Bits of shrapnel in the leg. It's a Faulty Tower reference. But his sense of purpose and what he needs to do to honor his family, because this is ancient China. This is I forget which dynasty it's supposed to take place, but ancient China is when the poem is from. The father's job is to bring honor to the family, to honor, do what is right for the family, and the family will prosper, and bring honor to the ancestors, etc., etc. So, despite the fact that he is more mature in age, and we're talking about a time period that people didn't live that long, and also that he was previously injured during a call to arms, a call to duty, and that didn't sway him. Okay, all right, this is what I have to do. I can't do it, but
right.
I'm going to have to do it anyway because this is what is required by me for my family to be prosperous. Because if I don't go, it will bring dishonor and shame upon my family. My family won't have the opportunities then because everyone will know that I did not do what was supposed to be done, and no one will trust us anymore, and then we'll fall out of favor, and it will bring shame and hard times amongst the family. Because it wasn't just what's the big deal? What's with the honor? Well, if you dishonor somebody, it wasn't something that it was just between you and them. That kind of people knew about it. It's a small village.
Yeah.
So word got around, and if you brought shame or dishonor, it was not looked kindly by anybody else upon you, and then you lose that. People won't do business with you. People won't sell you goods as are likely to. People won't necessarily help you out with things. So it's a snowball effect.
So, but in that movie though, it's like he's in the beginning and he's at the end, but she kind of takes on his role, and he's kind of the purpose for the whole movie, and so she's be a man, right? She's stepping up into the place as the man of the household for her family, and so we kind of see that fatherly role of taking over the in this case taking over the hard duties of going to war for your family. She's filling in and stepping in, and she's learning how to quote unquote be a man by playing the father role. So I think it's worth mentioning when we're talking about dads, is the kind of like that movie is driven by a father's role, and then in the absence of it, she has to step in.
Yeah. And it's not even just that. That kind of goes into a couple points within that movie as well, because you have Shang's character. His dad is the general, and he's living in his dad's shadow, and everyone's always comparing him to his father. So you kind of have the dual nature of it, that she is trying to step in and protect her father, and kind of finding out what that role means in that time period. And here you have this leader of the men trying to honor his father, but also step out of his shadow and be his own person, and not be allowed to.
Right.
So yeah, you get the dual nature there. That's a very good one. And you've now dropped 2 on me, and I've only done 1 so far. So let me go with my next one, to counter your Darth Vader about interesting fathers. Henry Jones Sr.
This guy keeps bringing up these who Go ahead. Go ahead.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
All right.
Arguably, probably one of the best Indiana Jones movie.
Okay.
Played by none other than the brilliant Sean Connery. But you talk about tough love. His whatever his son did was okay. Not now, Junior. Not now.
Yeah.
There was always something slightly more pressing, slightly more important, something more.
And how long were they absent from each other's life?
Well, I mean, he was there. Especially if you do the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, he was a little more present. But it was, I mean, he was there without being there.
Okay. Well, because he was following in his father's footsteps too, right?
Yeah, because he was molding his son to be a follow-up, basically, as he was. Yep. I mean, the irony of the fact that they have the same name is, should not be lost. That he was basically training his son to be him. Someone who studied archaeology or studied history and being a historian and looking for stuff, but also having a vast array of knowledge. I mean, you look at the beginning of The Last Crusade, whenever River Phoenix's character shows up as young Indiana Jones to the house, it's, Dad, I have to tell you something. Dad, I have to tell you something. And the father's, no, not now. And he starts counting 10, 9. The father's like, nope, in Greek. So instantly he starts spewing out in Greek. So he's training his son to be multilingual and be, just without hesitation, just knowing how to do stuff and knowing different things. I mean, again, a teenage Indiana Jones knows what the Cross of Cortez is at instant sight. He knew what it is. He knows, kind of the history of it. And see, he was a Life Scout, so he was probably 14.
Okay.
Give or take, it's been a while since I was in Boy Scouts. But yeah, I mean, 8th grade, freshman.
I did just watch these movies. When did they come on Disney Plus? Was that 3-4 months? I watched all of them in a row with my kids
last year.
Okay, all right. And
it was ahead of the Dial of Destiny.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because we watch them straight through. And well, Matt, the age of my kids, so it's borderline inappropriate. There's some stuff going on there. Didn't Indy and his dad share a love interest in one of those movies?
Last Crusade.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I was watching this with my that movie with my boys over the weekend, which is kind of made me think of it as okay. Good Father's Day film.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was just I had to pause the movie because I had some other obligations at the point, so we're not able to just ahead of that point that you're talking about. But at the same point, I did show it to my students at work, and it went right over their head.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Me and another of our coworkers were off to the side giggling about because we knew the inference, and it just that she talks in her sleep didn't mean anything to them, which is fine. You do not lose anything by missing out on that quip.
Right.
But Henry Jones Sr. As another interesting Disney dad, but in the end, he does. It's not that he doesn't care for his son. He just is one of those dads that doesn't know how to relate to. He's so caught up in their work, in their world, that trying to relate to someone younger who has their own interest or just who idolizes their father and looks up to them. But there's a disconnect, maybe because the difference, such a difference in age gap or whatever it is, that it's hard to, you lost your child, sense of child, so you can't connect with someone younger. So.
All right, you coming at me with Indiana Jones right there.
Yeah, and I think I owe you one more because you've done 3, I've done 2.
Yeah,
so
come on, yeah, let's go. Give me a Disney dad.
I'm gonna save that one for last. I'm going to go. I hope you don't have this one because I fear that you might.
Oh, it's okay if we do.
All right, I'm going to say Mando. Din Djarin.
Whoa, that's a fun one. No, I don't have that one.
Oh, you don't have that one. Excellent, good.
No, you did better at me. Besides Darth Vader, you did better at me than with the live action. I still go back to the old Disney classics and the clamshell when I'm thinking of Disney movies. So, all right, Din Djarin.
Oh, I got some of those too.
Okay, no, that's good.
I'm
no. Okay. Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Again, another like adoptive father who,
yeah,
single dad, adoptive father.
He has no idea what he's doing to begin with.
No.
Right. Absolutely.
Foundlings,
and listen, none of us do as fathers, by the way, have any idea when we're thrown into it. So, no. But his kid is how many years old? Hundreds? Thousands? How old is
50?
He's only 50. Okay. Okay, so you're adopting a 50-year-old essentially.
But we have to start. We have to get all the details.
All right,
you're adopting a 50-year-old child that your initial job was to kill and murder.
Yes, normal Tuesday
because there was a bounty on their head.
Yeah, bounty hunter, kill a child. Oh, maybe I won't. And okay, love that.
And it's worked so well over these 3 seasons now, to help between the two of them watch them grow and progress.
Yes,
in their relationship of the Grogu, the child, was would start fooling around in the ship and stuff, and Din Djarin, Mandalorian, would be instantly stop that, don't do this, don't do that. Which, as a dad, we've all done that. It's like don't play with this, don't play with that, don't play with that. Then you realize what's going to be what really is the harm.
Right. Yeah. So then he'll make him one, right? He'll make him a little ball or whatever, right?
Yeah. Don't play with the duct tape. What's going to go wrong if they play with the duct tape? They're going to tape themselves to something.
See, no, that's a great one because in my role in the martial arts, I always think of like the sensei-student relationship. And so at first, even though he's so young, that was my initial thought of their relationship.
Yeah.
But which is not maybe, I guess maybe a lot of people didn't think that because he is like a baby essentially. But the Jedi arts, and in this case, bounty hunting and all that, that's kind of a martial art. And so my mind goes there, but it really did develop into a fatherly role for sure. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I like that.
Yeah, it's it kind of started off as a teacher, but especially, what was this? This was
it started off as a babysitter. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It started off as I have this thing that I have to like take care of because I decided.
Well, I have to protect them because these bad people are after him. The Empire, right. These bad things will happen. But in doing that, a bond forms, a relationship forms. When he starts caring for the kid, and the protective role morphs into showing him how to do stuff, and taking him on as his foundling, and to teach him the ways of the Mandor. Also, he's Jedi, so let me teach him his ways, let him learn his stuff. And Let him make choices for his own.
Yeah, and
Very complex layers, but
you get those moments of let them be independent and let them they're better off without me kind of thing, for sure.
let them grow, let them make their own decisions.
Right.
But also, again, and you mentioned as a father that we don't know what we're doing. Whenever you're handed this child in the hospital, or however,
Yeah.
and initially, here's a child, take care of him. Huh?
What?
It's okay. I'll protect him and make sure nothing happens with him. Like I said, don't do this, don't do that, don't stop. What are you doing? Don't take that out of your mouth. Why are you putting that in your mouth? Don't put that there. That doesn't go there. Why are you doing that there? That doesn't go there. As a father, we often sound like idiots because we catch ourselves. So what the? How could you? Why yet? So yes, you get moments like that, but that's part of being a father. All right, so I'm caught up to you. So your turn.
Oh, I got a couple different directions I can go here.
I've heard that.
Okay. Uh, yeah, absolutely. I, I I gotta talk about the movie Onward. To me, the whole movie's about a father and the father-son relationship.
Uh-huh.
Um, Again, absent, kind of half of them. Um, um, love, I
I'll leave
love,
that one alone.
I love this movie. Um, you so what we see is the younger brother doesn't have all those moments of dad, you know, teaching him things growing up, and the older brother does, because the older brother had dad around. And so you see right there the difference that a dad makes in a child's life, and it's just between an older brother and a younger brother, and it's that simple. One had the dad and one didn't have the dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, again, spoiler alert, but I love the full circle moment that happens throughout the movie, that as we get to the end and we've journeyed and we finally the older brother sees dad and has a moment with dad. The younger brother realizes that he had a dad all along, and it was the older brother. And so to me, it's a movie about dads, or dad in this case, but it's really about the fatherly role and how that kind of can be taken on, in this case, by the older brother. So I couldn't do this list, I don't think, without mentioning this one. It comes across silly because dad's walking around as just a pair of pants. But who are we if we're not just a pair of pants, Matt? You and
I
I.
mean, think how many fathers just on when you have to get home from work or doing yard work or housework or just after a long day at work is sitting in just a pair of pants. Or sometimes you're lucky if they're wearing that much.
Yeah, yeah. I might. This is too much information for a podcast. But my son walked in the door the
That's
other
right. No
day.
one's listening.
Um, my son walked in the door the other day, and my pants were on the floor, and he said, "Well, Daddy's naked somewhere." So, sorry, that just made me think about that. But yeah, man, Onward, the Lightfoot family, right?
Yes.
Oh, love it. So
It,
it
it-
so
fathers and
Wilden
brothers.
Wilden is the father, but Barley turns out to be the older brother that is the actual father.
And it
The-
took that role upon himself to try and help raise.
Yeah. And it's so silly. I mean, it was right there the whole time, but I watched that movie and I didn't know we were getting to that at the end. I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, I remember having the similar reaction that how did I miss that?
Yeah.
As blatant obvious as it was, but yes, okay, and it's clear as day that it's there.
Right. Oh yeah. And maybe because this was that Onward came out during COVID, right? I mean,
Yes.
that was like we were just desperate to see a movie, and there wasn't a lot of like really
Well, the
fanfare for it either, right?
onward had a limited run. It came out 2 weeks beforehand in theaters, right
Okay.
before everything shut down.
But even like there was a mystique to Onward, even in the promotions. Like I didn't even know what we were getting into. Like it was this
No.
fantasy world. Um, couple. We had the van with the rock star. Like I'm
Two
like,
brothers have to go on a road
yeah,
trip. That
yeah, two
was
brothers
kind
going
of.
on. I didn't know what we were getting into, but so yeah, just I mean, beautiful beautiful ending that I did not expect, and really goes to show you the father role.
Yes, indeed.
All right, my friend.
Let's see here. So this would be my fourth one. I'll have one more after this. Um. All right, you wanted me to do animated.
Okay, give me animated. What do you got?
Um. All right, let me do this. Let me do this one.
If we match up on one, or I'll give you a bonus one. Is that what you want to do, or
well,
you know?
I got an extra one. I actually ended up with 7.
Okay.
I was going to mention Geppetto, but you know what? I like this other one better. And unfortunately, the character does not have a name because it's actually from one of the Pixar Spark shorts.
Geppetto's on my list too. I mean, are we giving him an honorable mention?
That's up to you. Because I think I know who your next one is.
Well, listen, Geppetto. He basically puts all his wants and needs of a child into an object, and then it becomes that child, right?
Yeah.
So, especially those people who maybe if you is not to get too real here, but if you suffered a loss or something, or miscarriage or something, if you're just this lonely old man, if you've never had a child, we could all kind of understand where he's coming from, and just I remember before we had kids, just trying to even write down the things we would love to have as attributes for our children. And I mean, it's an older movie, but what a beautiful thing that this man created, this pretty innocent, wonderful child that then goes off to do drugs and the circus and some crazy other things. A rumspring, a little.
It causes his dad to get eaten by a whale.
Listen, hey, our kids have dragged us through some stuff, so
yeah.
No.
What father hasn't been eaten by a whale for their kids?
Can you possibly do a Disney podcast about dads and not mention Geppetto? So there you go, Geppetto.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, so I'm Alex's dad from the Pixar Spark short Float.
Okay, Float.
So Float is the one.
This is the balloon. No. What is this one?
No. This is the one that the father is. Yeah, kind of weird that it's just a single dad, but it's a short, so you're gonna kind of whittle it down as much as possible.
This is the kid that keeps flying away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is the dad who has his son and is very happy about having this son, and then realizing that the son is not like all the other sons, and starts doing these things that he doesn't understand why he does them. And he starts becoming kind of embarrassed by his child, and keeps his child away. But you can't just keep your son inside the house all the time. So try to best that he can integrate his son into the quote unquote normal world, and it doesn't work out well, and it becomes too much for him, and he screams out, "Why can't you be like everyone else? Why can't you be normal?" And he just loses it. And as a dad, that happens more often than we'd like, that we just lose it. But then we have that moment of clarity afterwards. A lot of times, not always, unfortunately, but a lot of times have that moment of clarity afterwards and go, wait a second. All I have to do is accept you for who you are.
I love that.
The story is actually about a child with autism, by the director the writer, who found that his child was autistic and trying to relate to that at that time. My goodness, back at episode 53 or something like that. I forget which one it was, where I had Erica from Pixar on that was talking about her short, Loop, and the inspiration came from Float, because she worked closely with that director, who unfortunately that director did pass away. It was Michael, I believe his name was. He had passed away, so he was. They did that in his honor as well. But yeah, so it's a very personal story for me for multiple reasons, but it is also just a in general as a parent or as a father that you have this expectation that your child's going to be a certain way and whenever they act on their own because they are their own individual little human beings, um and we don't understand why they're doing something, the friction and the stress that it builds up and puts on us, until we have to realize that they're going to do what they are going to do, and we just have to make sure that they are safe.
I love that. That's fantastic. I can't even make a joke about that. That's wonderful. Absolutely. And in what we do at work, you and I, and what I do here with my martial arts, we see so much of that, and it's not easy, and I'm, you know, I might go home and watch that one again today. I do remember it, and
It's beautiful,
yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
yeah, I because of what loop is, I remember loop more, but because being looped in your head, but uh, yeah, we it's not being a father. Period is difficult. That's multiplied, infinite, exponentially, when it's a father of a special needs child. So, um, all the fathers out there, you're amazing, and kudos to Pixar and Disney for putting that together. I mean, that's a couple times apparently, right? So
Yes,
they're always
between
at the forefront. I'm glad. Okay, here's my joke. I'm glad you didn't mention what's the one about the bao bun that gets eaten by the mom or by the.
Wow,
Okay,
but
yeah.
that's by the mother.
Okay, right. That's for Mother's Day. Okay, eat your child. Right. Oh man. Okay, so I was going to bring up Marlon, but you made me think of Dory's father. As far as the special needs, when they were laying out the shells and finding Dory, basically accepting Dory for who she was. Um, we could still talk about Marlon here too, but um, that's another movie where you learn more about the parents through the child's journey and how they've relied on their parents or have gotten by without their parents. I'm glad we visited Dory's parents in Finding Dory, because otherwise we would have thought they were deadbeat parents that left their special needs daughter out in the ocean by herself. But it's another full circle moment. I'm glad I did watch Finding Dory recently, and I'm glad they did what they did with it, because it kind of is beautiful. And having had just mentioned this, special needs father not knowing what to do, her parents kind of figured out pretty early on what to do with the shells and how to deal with her short-term memory loss, and no, that's a beautiful thing. I did want to talk about Marlon a little bit, but just his frustration, we all understand.
Oh yes.
And but there's something about the way that he lets Nemo be Nemo that I appreciate as well. So I didn't want to talk about Disney dads without talking about Mr. Marlon.
Marlon's a good one, and Dory's parents as well. I actually call this controversial. I actually like Finding Dory better than I do Finding Nemo.
Okay.
I just find it a smoother story.
Sure.
But it's yeah.
Well, the first one didn't necessarily have to be. It was, the first one came out as a kids movie, and it was all over the place and crazy, and kept everyone going. But the second one was kind of for the older audience, for the audience that had seen the first one that is now older, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to find what episode I had them on, and I can't find it now.
Oh, for Float and Loop, you said?
Yeah.
Because we can plug it and have them go back and watch and listen. Yeah. I'm running low on Disney dads here.
All right. Well,
We've
let's
got
see. That was your five. So
okay. Okay. Yeah, let me hear what you got, and then we'll throw out a couple of honorable
all right.
mentions.
I don't want to steal yours. I don't want to
Oh,
steal.
no, he's yours, I think.
But you'd mentioned them during the.
Yeah, but it's because I thought you were gonna do it.
All right, Goofy.
Yeah.
I'll go with Goofy. I mean, I could have gone with John from Carousel of Progress, but
Oh my god. My man. Yeah. Doing the deep hits, my man. Yeah.
well, told you I do it all.
I
But no, let me go Goofy because
Talk to me about
that this one I could tell you is episode 100. Where I sat down and spoke to Jim Magon, who creator of Goof Troop and the Goofy movie. But even before that, even in some of the Goofy shorts where you had Goofy Jr. Running around as in Mr. Dad and Mr. Wheeler, and you got some of the father figures stuff back then, and then you transitioned to Goof Troop where Goofy Jr. now became Max. And this is one of the earlier Disney characters that you actually saw grow up from Goof Jr., where he's a little tyke, to Max being a preteen, to Mickey's Twice Upon Christmas, where he's a college student, or even an Extreme Goofy movie where he goes into college, and the Goofy movie where he's in high school.
Fab Fives with teenage kids, huh?
Well, actually, for the Fab Five or Fab Six, if you want to include Daisy, none of them are parents besides Goofy.
There you go.
Mickey and Minnie have nieces and nephews. Donald and Daisy have nieces and nephews. Pluto at one point had a pup somehow with Fifi, but that was like a one and done.
Goofy's the dad, huh?
Yeah. So everyone else is by extended family. Goofy's the only one with a direct child. And the relationship between Goof and Max, and go back to episode 100, or where even one point I did a review on the Goofy movie, and I talk about my feelings towards that relationship and just what a beautiful story it is, particularly in a Goofy movie, of how it the dad is trying to be as much as possible for the son, and more about the son trying to accept the father for who their father is, who he's not perfect. He's not always going to be he's not going to be the cool dad. He's not always going to do or say all the right stuff. He's going to mess up, but he is your dad. And in the end, he does everything for you to give you the best experience that he knows possible how to do it, even though it may not be the big experience that you are looking for, but he'll go to the ends of the earth for you. It's just a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Goofy's one of the first parents of a teenager too. Like, they didn't really do that earlier on so much. I mean,
no.
we had presumptive teenage princesses, but they they didn't have that that mother-daughter relationship so much, right? But really, a Goofy movie is the earliest moment of a Disney father, and especially a teenager here, right? I mean they've done it more recently for sure,
yeah,
with a little controversy with Red and stuff, but yeah. Goofy did it right early.
It wasn't the father and son relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, the father in Red is good. I like the character. I like the dad in that.
Yeah.
But it's not as strong as character as Goofy.
Yeah, that's
And
a great point because you didn't have we didn't really have Disney princes early on, right? What did we
yeah,
have?
Prince Philip was
Right.
really the only one that did. Everybody else just kind of showed up.
No, we had a father with the singular father-son relationship, at least early on, especially in the Disney animation stuff, was Goofy.
Yeah, and like I said, you go through Goof Troop, and like you said, some of those early Goofy shorts. The Goofy shorts are funny. Where Goofy takes over for the mother role for the day, and all the like little hysterical bits and pieces that happen there. Um, again, going back to Goof Troop and all the different things that the storylines and everything that they went through, but Goofy was always an endearing character. Again, trying his best, trying to be the best dad possible, but not knowing how to do it and messing up. But the lesson at the end of the day always was that he is your dad and he loves you very much and he's trying his best. Then even House of Mouse. You still kind of, even though they weren't always the main focus, you had Goofy as the waiter and Max as the, strangely enough, the valet. But you would have some of those interactions of the father and the son. There was one wherever Goofy was trying to teach his son how to be a waiter. So and they pair up so well. Max trying to be the cool teenage kid, but having this bumbling dad who, as a cool teenage kid, you don't want to have. But, also on the back of your head, he loves me and he is trying his best to make me the best person possible.
Well, you said something that made me think. I mean, not to get philosophical here, but when we talked earlier about you just thrown into this role of a father, and to me, no, we don't. There's no guideline. There's no book to how we do this. There's two things we do. We love unconditionally, which you just said. You just Goofy and love Max so much, and you just try really hard.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. That's all we know how to do. And at the end of the day, it may be all we have to do is just try your absolute hardest to raise these kids and to do the right thing and love them unconditionally.
Absolutely.
So, yes, sir.
You have anything else you want to throw out there?
I mean, Mickey was a dog dad. Just saying. I mean, it's a little bit of a throwaway here at the end, but
I was going to say Walt.
Oh, shoot. That's the story for another day, my friend.
Yes. But like I said, John from Carousel of Progress, he's always there. Every decade he shows up.
He's in every scene, right? Yeah.
There we have it. So, Chris, thank you for coming on. Thank you for discussing Disney Dads with me.
Absolutely.
And we have to have you on again sometime soon.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, who are some of your favorite Disney dads? Again, join us on the social media that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, which is pretty much everywhere at WD MagicCast. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us here at WD MagicCast. We appreciate your time. We know how little time you have. I appreciate it. We all here at the WD MagicCast family appreciate your time. Please, if you could do us a favor, go on to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, give us a rating review. We have all 5-star reviews at the moment. Please keep them coming. We do need more because those podcasters will do their due diligence. If we get enough 5-star reviews, they will also promote our show to other people as well, so they do the legwork for you. Or please also just share out on the social networks. Tell people about the episode that you're listening to, or share out your favorite episodes. Tag us along so that way we can thank you personally for it. The more people that join the Disney family, the better. Won't believe they're a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. And while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Truly help the show out that way. Help us fund the movie reviews, equipment, and whatnot, and especially some fun things that we have coming up. You could do this over on our Spotify podcast page. Links to all these are in the show notes, plus our shop and our social network are all in the show notes. Where I'd also, again, check out our merchandise shop. Get yourself some cool WD Magic Cast swag there. Remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever troubles you are dealing with, whatever hard times you are facing, you are not alone. Do not give up on yourself. You are special. You are wonderful. You are unique. There's only one you in this world, and there's a reason. It's a good reason, because the world needs you for you. You are special. You are beautiful. You are loved. Don't ever forget that. Never give up. Never give in. Be your own hero. And if you need help, you feel you need help, there is someone there. Just ask, and help will be given to you. Maybe a stranger, maybe someone that you never expected would help you or would care. Believe me, they're there. Now I'd like to end this week's show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. We try in everything we do here, for the family. We don't actually make films for children, but we make films that children can enjoy along with their parents. Again, that's from Walt Disney. Thank you for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.